This video today is being dedicated to one of my best friends, Gabrielle. She only has a couple of days left to live. And I know that Gabrielle loved us, loved me, loved our daughter, my husband, my son, and she believed in me. So this video today is being dedicated to her. Losing your job suddenly in your 60s, or should I say later in adult life, can feel like the rug's been pulled out from underneath you. We are not ready to retire, so what can we do? What should we do? How should we feel? Welcome back to my channel. This is Beauty Within the Soul, and I'm Tamra. I put out videos twice a week on Tuesdays and Saturdays. So let's talk about what we can do. This is my story, and then I'll give you some things you can do or some things to think about. Last November, I was 61 at the time, and I totally felt like the rug was pulled out from underneath me. Now, with that being said, it was a blessing in one way because I worked in a very toxic environment. And I had already quit 3 times, but was talked into staying. And I only stayed because I knew it would be harder to get a job at my age. I took the abuse so the money could keep coming in to pay our household bills. I did not feel like I had a choice. I so wanted to retire, but I knew it'd be a few years before I could because I still have a daughter in high school and my mom who is living with us, even though she's pretty lively and she does not take much to take care of. In fact, I think sometimes she takes care of us. At almost 93, she helps us with the laundry and the dishes and organization, even when we don't ask her to. So what happened was I was fired. I was kind of I guess I encouraged to be fired because he said, "I want to fire you." And I said, "Okay, go ahead." Um, but it was the first time of me ever being fired. But in my exit interview with the owner, he tried to get me to stay at least 5, if not 8 times in the exit interview. And I finally said, you know what? Let's leave it where it is. You let me go, and that's what we're going to do. Because I really felt at the time God was telling me, it's time to go. Everything will be all right, and things will get figured out. So I did. I walked out the door, and even though I was on my way home and I got another phone call asking me to come back in, and I said, nope, I just wasn't going to do it. God had my back. So, the first couple of 2 to 4 weeks, I was pretty numb. I was still processing everything. I didn't know what to do with myself. Here I had all this time. I was staying up late. I was sleeping in. I didn't know what to do with myself. So I finally decided to go ahead and file for unemployment. And so the first week of December, I went ahead and filed. So it was really weird because, I worked most of my life ever since I was 11 years old. So this was a quite a bit different, it just felt different. So after I filed for unemployment, they said it was going to be like the week between Christmas and New Year's, probably the first week of New Year's before I heard anything, because I had to go to in front of the board. So during the month of December, I figured out that I was going to be 62. And so I did research on taking early Social Security at 62. So I decided to do it and I filed for early Social Security. So then in January, I went looking for my unemployment because I hadn't heard anything. And I found that somehow my application got deleted. So then I said, you know what? I'm just going to wait until after my Social Security goes through, and then I'll file for unemployment again. So actually, I'm going to be doing that next week to see if I can still file for unemployment. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that or not. I'm not alone. And, neither are you if you're in the same boat as me. We still have valuable options on how we can cope and move forward. First, we need to breathe and reframe. Some people say it's not about us personally, but it's about business. But it actually is personally. When it's happening to you, it's personally. It's not about business. Because what happened to me was definitely not about business. Our skills and our experience and wisdom are our assets, not liabilities. We need to give ourselves time to grieve. We need to grieve the loss, but we don't need to get stuck there. And I'm still working on that part because I know I need to still work. I need to find a job. So I feel like I don't have a purpose in life, but this YouTube channel is helping me stay busy and trying to start a community of friends who are like-minded. I'm trying. I'm still working on it, and I'm not going to give up. Second, we need to stabilize financially. That means that we need to make short term moves. We can cut out all non essential expenses to reduce the pressure quickly on our finances. Also, like I'm doing right now, look for unemployment benefits or early retirement distribution like Social Security, and that's what I did. Let me tell you, even though I took a cut on Social Security because I didn't wait until I was 67, the money that's coming in is certainly helping. You can also look into community resources like food banks and utility assistance or any nonprofit or programs. Luckily, we haven't had to do that because my husband is still working. Third, re enter full time, part time, or even flexible work. As I said earlier, I really wanted to retire, but I know I can't, so I'm going to start looking for part time work, whether it be in the sticks and brick building or remote. I prefer the remote, especially since my daughter's going to be a senior this next year and I have my mom living with us. I like to be more present at home. You may even want to go back to work full time, and that's awesome too. Here are some viable options. Consulting in your field of expertise, as many companies value experts without long term commitments. Then there's remote customer service or admin work. These jobs are more flexible and often lower stress. Then we have tutoring and mentoring. Online platforms make this easy, or check out your local library or schools to see if parents are looking for help with their children. I'm thinking about doing that. And I'm also thinking about being a substitute teacher. Also, there's driving or delivery. This is like, Uber or Instacart or even Amazon. And the last one I was looking at was retail or season work or gig work. These type of jobs can offer structure and a little bit of income. Helps. Fourth, update your skills and resumes. You can take a short online course. I know that there are free courses on LinkedIn and Coursera and YouTube. Make sure to update your resume and highlight the adaptability, the reliability, and your life experiences, and focus on transferable skills and not just job titles. Also, have a strong elevator pitch, meaning people respond better when you come across confident and concise in what your value is. Fifth, use your network. Tell people you trust that you're looking for a job, whether it's full time or part time, or even consulting work. Connect or reconnect on LinkedIn. Also, look in your area as there's jobs listed in the unemployment office under the Career Center, or look online, or if there's any groups in your area, ask different groups, ask church members. That would help. So, six, Take care of your mental health. This kind of life shakeup can affect your confidence, your self worth, and your self esteem. Some of the things you can do is, like I've talked about before, that journal. I hope you have that journal out. Taking walks, meditate, and talk to someone you trust. Also, if you need be, there is no shame in considering therapy or career counseling if you feel overwhelmed. I have done several of these already. And then the seventh, longer term strategies. You might explore semi retirement, which is a blend of part time and a lifestyle of downsizing, which I'm doing. I may do a separate video on what it looks like to be semi retired. Let me know if you would like me to do a, a video on semi retirement because that's where I'm headed towards. And I think that I can really put out a good video. So let me know down in the comments below if you'd like me to do a video on that. Also, think about what kind of work lights you up and not just what pays you. You still have 10 plus years of potential work if you want to. Many people find some of their most fulfilling work later in life. You know, you have already lived through many challenges and have decades of resilience behind you. This chapter may look different, but doesn't mean that it's over. It might be the start of something better, a newer, a freer version of work. Don't let life get you down. You have value, and don't forget that. So, I am going to share more in the future. And if you, again, if you want me to do a video on being semi-retired, which I am going that direction because I got Social Security at an early age at 62, I can only make so much money. So part-time is where I need to go. And so, and we are downsizing. We're having a garage sale, and I'm just getting rid of a lot of stuff. And do we really need the stuff? I don't think so. So think about that. So, again, thank you for spending time with me. Please subscribe, like, and share. And don't forget to comment below. I would love to hear what's going on in your life. And again, I am dedicating this video, and please forgive me if this is not my best video. I did hear the sad news right before I started this video, and I'm going to miss one of my best friends, Gabrielle. I'm going to miss her so much. And anyway, don't take life for granted. God bless, and I'll see you next time. Bye.